So you're seriously considering Columbus, Ohio for 2026, and you want the complete picture, right? Not just the highlight reels, not just the downsides, everything. Well, we got you. Sit here for the next 20 to 25 minutes. I'm about to give you the most comprehensive guide to Columbus that you are ever going to find anywhere. And I mean that. My name is Gagan with the Living in Columbus channel, and I've spent a really long time at this point helping people just navigate throughout the city. And what you're about to get is the kind of information that I normally only share in paid consultations. The insider knowledge, the neighborhood secrets, the timing strategies, the financial realities that most people don't figure out until they've been here for a few years. So if you're moving here for a job, relocating with your family, or just exploring some options, stick with me, because by the end of this video, you're going to understand Columbus better than most people that have lived here their entire lives. Roll the intro. All right, let's start with the foundation, the economy, because everything else just kind of flows from there, right? Columbus in 2026 is not the Columbus of 5 years ago. We've had massive industrial investment, like the Andrew Arsenal One facility, bringing defense manufacturing here. We've got healthcare expansion with OSU's Wexner new inpatient tower. We've got infrastructure investments that are reshaping downtown. But here's what this means for you practically. The job market is strong, but it's balanced across multiple sectors. We're not a tech town by any means, where everyone has a job within one of 3 companies. We're also not a manufacturing hub where one industry closing tanks the economy. We've got government jobs, healthcare, education, logistics, tech, finance, and insurance. It's diversified in a way that actually creates sustainability. Let's also talk about these salary expectations, because if you're moving here from the coastal cities, your salary will likely decrease in absolute terms, but your purchasing power, it might actually increase. The $120,000 job in San Francisco might be a $95,000 job here in Columbus, but your housing costs are literally half or less than that. Look, most people think the math isn't going to work for them, but once they actually crunch the numbers, they start to realize that they've got more purchasing power here than other locations. So at the same time, I'm going to tell you this, that I tell all of my clients. You want to make sure that you're running your own numbers based on your specific situation and then figure out what specifically you need. Look, the insider knowledge here is that Columbus salaries are rising faster than cost of living is right now because of all the developments and the company relocations. We're in this sweet spot where employers are competing for talent, but housing really hasn't caught up to the salary growth just yet. Look, the window isn't going to last forever, which is why 2026 might be the optimal time to actually make your move and purchase that house. Let's talk about the real dollars, guys, because affordable, it's got different meanings to different people. Housing in Columbus right now, if you're looking at a median price home, it's around the $300,000 to $350,000 numbers. But that also varies based on neighborhood. A German Village, a Victorian Village, they're going to push around the $500,000 to $600,000 for renovated historic homes. The new builds in Dublin or New Albany are between $500,000 to about $600,000. And if you're still trying to find a solid home in Clintonville, Westerville, or Grove City, it's around the $280,000 to about $350,000 price range. Places like Dublin and New Albany, this is kind of where the prices vary. You can find something between $450,000 and even more than $1 million, $2 million if you want something that's luxurious. You can also find solid homes in places like Clintonville, Westerville, or Grove City around the $280,000 to about $350,000 price range. The rent for a decent 2-bedroom apartment, it's going to run you about $1,400 to $1,800. We're talking about areas like the Short North, Arena District, or just a nice suburban complex. You can find cheaper options, but you're trading proximity to downtown or just the quality of the overall apartment complex as a whole. Let's talk about something that really no one speaks about, and that's property taxes. Look, I'm coming here from New York, so I love the fact that our property taxes are less than New York. But at the same time, if you're coming from a location with low property taxes, your effective rate is going to be around the 1.5% to 2% of the assessed value, depending on the actual school district. That $350,000 house might cost you an additional $5,000 to $7,000 annually in property taxes. Utilities are pretty reasonable. We're talking about maybe $150 to $200 depending on the month for gas, electric, and a typical house. And then obviously with the winter, it might be, a few bucks more here and there. Water and sewer, they add up another $80 to about $100, and internet through Spectrum or WoW is about $60 to $80 for decent speed. It adds up, but it's not going to shock you like the coastal city's utility bills. Look, car ownership is absolutely mandatory unless you're very specific about your location. Insurance is pretty reasonable compared to other states, maybe around $120 to about $150 a month for good coverage. Gas prices can fluctuate, but we're usually sitting below the national average. Look, here's the insider angle on Columbus's cost. It's that you can live really well on about $75,000 to about $85,000 household income if you're strategic. We're talking that traditional middle-class comfort with saving potential. At about $120,000 in household income, you're living very comfortably. comfortably with significant savings and investment capacity. The quality of life ratio to income ratio is one of Columbus's biggest advantages, and honestly, no one talks about it. This right here is where people make the expensive mistakes, guys. They pick a neighborhood based on an online research or a quick visit, and 6 months later, they hate themselves, they hate their realtor, and they hate the house. So let's break down the actual personality of Columbus neighborhoods beyond just the basic description. German Village, yeah, it's beautiful, brick street and historic homes, but it's also expensive to maintain these old homes. Parking is tight, and the community is very preservation focused. If you want to make any changes to your property, you're dealing with the German Village Society approval process. It's for people who value history and aesthetic over convenience. The Short North, it's walkable, it's artsy, lots of restaurants and galleries, but it's also loud on the weekends, and they just added a 1% safety fee, which is going to be an occurrence between 12 and 3 a.m. to protect the location, as they say. Some people are very happy about this, some people are not. Just letting you guys know. Listen, parking is a nightmare, and you're paying premium prices for smaller spaces. It's for people who want that urban energy and are willing to trade space and quiet for location. Let's talk about Clintonville next. This is where a lot of young families land because it's got good school, old homes, walkable business districts, and even more affordable housings in the premium neighborhoods. But it's also a little quirky. It's politically progressive and has that slightly hippie vibe. If you want traditional suburban culture, Clintonville might be a perfect alternative. If you want traditional suburban culture, Clintonville might feel too alternative. Look, Dublin, corporate suburban, excellent schools, manicured, everything. It's for people who want the new build homes, HOA maintained communities, and top tier schools. And it's not me saying this, it's all in accordance to niche.com. Look, but it might lack a little pizzazz, some character. Every house looks very similar and you're driving everywhere unless you're living in Bridge Park. It's suburban efficiency without much personality. Let's talk about a location where honesty is getting a lot more eyeballs. Grandview Heights, it's small town feel inside the city, walkable business district, strong community identity, but the housing stock is a little bit older. Prices are inflated because of the school district reputation, and parking is tight. That's for people who want community intimacy with urban accessibility. Here's the insider strategy of all of this. Visit the neighborhood on a weekday morning, weekend afternoon, and a weekday evening. See what the traffic is like, what the vibe is, what it's like to just walk outside. The neighborhood is going to look perfect on a Saturday afternoon, but it'll look completely different on a Tuesday morning when everyone is just trying to go to work. All right, let's talk about the educational landscape reality. Columbus has excellent educational options, but navigating them can require a little bit of work. The suburban districts, places like Dublin, New Albany, Worthington, Upper Arlington, they're nationally ranked and they deserve their reputation. But they also create this pressure cooker environment where kids are overscheduled and parents are competitive about everything. Look, the Columbus City schools have amazing magnet programs and specialized academics that most people don't know about. Columbus Alternative High School, Fort Hayes Arts Academic High School, these are excellent options if you know how to access them. The challenge behind all of this is that you need to be proactive about application and understand the lottery system. Private schools like Columbus Academy, Wellington, and other various religious schools provide quality education without coastal city pricings. I mean, you're looking around the $20,000 to $30,000 annually, which is significant, but half of what you'd be paying in major cities. And let's talk about the big boss behind all of this. The Ohio State proximity is absolutely massive for education. Your kids can take classes here, use the libraries, attend lectures, and events. It's intellectual enrichment that most cities cannot match. And here's the insider angle for all of this. Don't automatically assume that suburban schools are better than city schools for your specific child. The magnet programs and specialized academics often provide more individualized attention and unique opportunities than large suburban high schools. Do your research for all of this, not just watching these videos. Please, for the love of God, do your own research. Figure out what you need, figure out what's best for your family, and then use that and apply it. I tell all of our clients that these videos are not the end-all be-all. I really hope that it is not the end-all be-all for you. Please, please, please do your research, figure out where you want to live, get the information, and then give us a call. All right, I'm gonna tell you something that you've never heard before. Columbus's healthcare is genuinely world-class. OSU Wexner Medical Center isn't just big, it's where cutting-edge treatment happens. If you have a complex medical condition, this is one of the best places in America to be. They're doing experimental cancer research treatment, advanced surgical procedures, and research that shapes national medical practices. Yeah. Ohio Health and Mount Carmel hospital systems provide excellent care across multiple locations. You're never too far away from a good medical care here in Columbus. Wait time for specialists, they're manageable compared to other cities. You might wait 3 to 4 weeks for a specialized appointment instead of 3 to 4 months. And here's something that's big. Mental health resources are surprisingly robust here. Columbus has been progressive about mental health funding, and they've got good therapists, psychiatrics, and treatment programs all available. Insurance coverage is decent for mental health in Ohio compared to some other states. The challenge is, while this routine and complex cares are excellent, if you need something that's extremely specialized that OSU cannot handle, you might be traveling to Cleveland Clinic or Cincinnati. It's rare, but it does happen. Dental care and vision care are affordable and high quality as well. You can get excellent dental work for reasonable prices, vision care through places like Eye Care Association or just a local eye doctor as well. I don't know how to pronounce that word. Look, Columbus is a car city. Let me just be clear about that and upfront, okay? If you're planning on living here, plan to own your own car unless you're very strategic about the neighborhood selection and you're okay with limitations. That said, commuting in Columbus is actually manageable in ways that most cities, they're not. Look, rush hour is real, but you're also talking about 25 to 35-minute commutes from suburban to downtown during peak hours, not the 90-minute nightmare, or if you're in LA, the 144-hour jam. 270 does get congested, I-71 slows down, but traffic actually moves. The Coda bus systems work for specific routes, and if you live and work along a major corridor, then you can make it work. The Link US BRT system starting in the West Broad in 2026 will improve this significantly. But for most people, public transit is a backup option, not a primary mode of transportation. Biking infrastructure is improving, but it's also very inconsistent. And some areas have great bike lanes and trails, and others are actively hostile towards cyclists. If biking is important to you, neighborhood selection is absolutely critical. The airport situation is actually one of Columbus's advantage. John Glenn International is easy to navigate, security lines are quick, parking is affordable and convenient, and you can show up 45 minutes before your flight instead of 2 hours. It's a genuine quality of life improvement if you travel for work. And here's the insider tip for all of this. Your commute should be a massive factor in neighborhood selection. A house that's $40,000 cheaper but adds $30,000 each way to your commute will cost you more in time, gas, and quality of life than the price savings that are worth. Now let's talk about something else, and that's Columbus's social life, right? It requires a little bit more effort than most major cities, but it's also more rewarding once you build it. Here's what I mean. You're not going to move here and immediately have a friend group. That's not how Columbus works. Columbus relationships, they take time to develop because people have invested long-term friendships rather than just superficial networking. The way you build community here is through constant participation. Join a kickball league, volunteer for community organizations, become a regular at a local business, attend neighborhood events. Columbus rewards showing up consistently over time. And I could actually attest to this. I run a page called the Columbus Report. It is one of the fastest growing media cohorts in the entire city. I'll put it right here so you can kind of see it. Once I first built the Columbus Report and it was just picking off the ground, just kind of starting out, I got so much love, so much support from the people that are living here that it is absolutely amazing. And every single morning she says, hey, keep up the good work. Something small like this is actually very, very rewarding. And these small things, they tend to trickle over time. Columbus's business growth, Columbus's relationships, they're not linear. They're actually exponential. There's something to think about. The dating scene here is interesting. Columbus has a good pool of educated, employed single people, but dating culture here is a lot more traditional than coastal cities. People date with intention here, rather than just hooking up or casually seeing multiple people. If you're used to app-based dating culture in those major cities, Columbus dating might feel a little bit more slow and a lot more serious. But hey, if you want to find the love of your life, it's the spot to be, or just give my mom a call, she'll arrange someone for you. Good to go. For family, community building happens through school, youth sports, and neighborhood activities. The suburban communities especially have built-in social infrastructures through schools and community centers. It's easier to build a social life here as a family than a single person, honestly. Look, the insider knowledge is that Columbus has deep social circles that are hard to break into initially, but once you're in, you're in. People here are friendly, but not immediately open. It takes consistent effort over 6 to 12 months to build real friend groups. Don't get discouraged because it feels slow at first, but honestly, yeah, it hurts hard once you actually build those groups. It's the same notion as people that are living in LA and New York, right? You hear it all the time. People that are living in LA are nice to you. People that are living in New York are kind. If your car breaks in New York, they're gonna make fun of you, but they're actually gonna help you fix the car. If your car breaks in LA, they're gonna say, oh, this sucks, I'm sorry to hear that, but they're not gonna actually help you do anything. In In Columbus, we're going to help you do things, but we're also not going to care if you say thank you or not. Hope that makes sense. Let's talk about something here that needs to, be on your radar. Ohio's weather is going to affect your life here more than you actually think. Let me break it down into what seasons actually feel like and not just the temperature ranges. Spring in Columbus is through March and May, but it's unpredictable. Yeah, that's unpredictable. You might get 70-degree days in March, followed by snow in April. May is usually beautiful, but the key is layering and accepting that weather forecasts are suggestions, they're not facts. Spring in Columbus is also when Columbus as a city comes alive. Everyone is outside, festivals start, energies shift. Summer, it runs through June, all the way to early September. It's hot, but it's not brutally hot. It's usually from about 80 to low 90s with humidity. July and August can be a little uncomfortable, but it's completely manageable. The advantage is that summer in Columbus is packed with activities, festivals, concerts, outdoor dining, sports. You get more out of summer here than in places where it's too hot to be outside, like Arizona. Look, fall is September through November, and it's the perfect season. We're talking about leaves changing, football season energy, harvest activities. If you only experience Columbus in October, you'd think it's paradise. Fall is why people stay here despite the winter. Let's talk about the big bad winter. Winter is December through March, and it's a challenge. It's not just cold, it's also gray. We have stretches where the sun, it doesn't show up for weeks, and temperatures can fluctuate from 40 to single in an instant. The snow is inconsistent. Some years we get hammered, and other years we barely get anything. The challenge is the psychological weight of the gray, cold days from January through March. Here's the insider strategy for all of this. It's to plan your life around the seasons. Save indoor projects for the winter time. Maximize outdoor activities during spring through fall. Accept the fact that you're going to need multiple different wardrobes. Budget for a winter vacation to somewhere sunny. It's worth it for your mental health. Let's talk about the one area that I think Columbus is absolutely slept on, because you want to make sure that you understand this and the next thing. If you don't understand these two things, it's not even worth watching the rest of the video. Listen, Columbus's food scene in 2026 is legitimately impressive. We've got James Beard recognition, Michelin-worthy restaurants, and food diversity that rivals much bigger cities. But here's a nuance behind all of this. We have excellent options, just not endless options. Look, the North Market is world-class for what it is. Fox and Snow makes incredible pastries. The Guild House, the Pearl, all of these are excellent by any standard. We also have authentic international food from Somalia, Korea, and Mexican cuisines because of our diverse immigrant population. But if you want to eat at a different restaurant every week for a year without repetition, you're gonna run out of options. Columbus has depth in food, but not infinite varieties. Most people find their 15 to 20 favorite spots and just kind of rotate them around. Entertainment options are also good, but they're also scheduled. We have major concerts and touring shows, but not every single tour. We have excellent local music scenes, but they're not the type of music that has a robust scene. Sports are absolutely massive. Blue Jackets, the Crew, Ohio State football, they dominate. Cultural institutions like COSI, Columbus Museum of Art, and various theater companies are genuinely excellent for a city of this size. No, they might not be as extensive as what you'd find in major cultural capitals, but they're fun. Look, here's the insider angle in what this is. The insider angle is that Columbus's culture rewards engagement over passive consumption. The people who love the art scenes here are the ones that participate in it, taking classes, attending opening, supporting local artists. If you want to consume culture passively, options might feel a little bit more limiting. But if you want to participate in culture, Columbus is incredibly accessible. Let's talk about the one thing that no one talks about, and it is absolutely critical. Columbus is one of the few remaining cities where regular middle-class people can actually build real wealth through real estate and career stability. Housing prices are appreciating steadily, about 4 to 6% annually, but they're not shooting up so fast that you cannot get in. If you're buying strategically in areas that are near massive developments or along transit corridors, you're positioning yourself for significant appreciation in the next 10 to 15 years. But they're not shooting up so fast that you cannot get in. If you're buying strategically in areas near massive developments or along the transit corridor, you're positioning for significant appreciation over the next 10 to 15 years. The job market stability, it also means that you can stay with employers long-term and build retirement benefits. Turnovers are significantly lower here, which means longer tenure, better matching for the 401k, and pension benefits where they actually still exist. The cost of living is actually manageable, which means you can save and invest significant portions of your income. The household making $100,000 can realistically save between $20,000 and $30,000 annually if you're disciplined. Try doing that in San Francisco or New York. The insider strategy is to buy in properties in areas that are positioned for growth, max out retirement accounts because your cost of living allows it, and let compound growth work over time. Columbus rewards people who think long-term over people who just want to get rich quickly. And listen, if all of this is just overwhelming to you and you just want to find the perfect neighborhood, you have a lot of questions and you're just like, dang, I wish there was someone to help you. Listen, this is exactly what we do for a living. As much as we love making these videos, guys, we would love the opportunity to collaborate with you and find that perfect property for you right here in Columbus, Ohio. All of our information is linked down below. It is in the description and pinned to the top of the chat as well. It's never a bother when you're reaching out to us. Reach out to us. Let's work together. Let's collaborate. Let's make Columbus home. All right, let's talk about a few things that I got to rapid fire off to you right now, because I honestly wish I knew this before I moved here. The water tastes differently and some people just never adjust to it. It's safe, but it has a taste. Many people just use a filter. Snow removal is your responsibility, and if you don't stay on top of it, you're going to get passively aggressive notes from your neighborhood or just city fines altogether. Columbus has this weird social scene around Ohio State football. Even if you didn't go to OSU, you're expected to have an opinion on it. Just embrace it. Make sure that you get your gutters cleaned regularly as well. Hire someone out or just buy a ladder. All of these things may seem small, but when you're actually making that move to Columbus, Ohio, it's imperative that you know all of this and more. So the question remains, who is Columbus for and who is it not for? And honestly, I've got no idea. That decision is completely on you, my friend. If everything that I say makes you feel like you want to be in Columbus, please make Columbus home. It's an excellent location. I think you would be perfect here. If not, then great. Me saving you the decision of wasting hundreds of thousands of dollars, yes, wasting hundreds of thousands of dollars, and me making sure and ensuring that you don't make that bad decision is a better feeling than any commission check that I can get. I want to make sure that you have all the information that you need, and that's why we don't make these cookie cutter videos. I believe in the city. I love the city. And if you feel the same way, and if you feel like Columbus is a good fit for you, please reach out. Please move here. If not, I love the fact that you made it to the end of this video. And by the way, we actually did an entire playlist, an A to Z guide on what living in Columbus is really, really like, even if you're not quite ready to make that move here. I'm gonna put that playlist right here. Watch it, and I'll see you soon. Peace.